passion and grime. We never had nothing to lose. There you go. This is where I'm landing now. Man. So when we're saying things to each other, you could call me anything in the world. I'm not going to lose a Nike deal.
Right.
I'm not going to not be able to put food in. That'd probably even get me more money because we'll go to the show and do the clash on the stage and more people are paying and rare, you know what I'm saying? So
the version they was doing was hurting.
It's hurting what we've built. It's hurting what we've all built this whole time, like you two, man. If you don't like each other, just link up and speak and just talk to each other, or don't speak to each other but all this stuff you're saying to each other, for the rest of everyone else who is waiting in line for the doors that you've kicked open, these doors are shutting on us right now, bro. We're looking crazy out here.
Now, currently, we are witnessing one of the most ridiculous and pathetic debates that hip-hop culture has ever seen, and of course, it all centers around Drake, and specifically, it's seeming like more and more every day that from his fans to his moles in the media to his own OVO crew, that there is an active group of people in hip-hop who are trying to go into the history books of the genre and revise narratives in order to make Drake not just look like the winner or bigger person in his beef with Kendrick Lamar, but to redefine what competition in hip-hop has meant for nearly 50 years. And now at this point, as every day online, from Big Act to OVO Mal to the Drake stans who can't get over the fact that he lost, I don't know if people are actually starting to believe the narratives that they have been spewing out about the fact that Drake was a victim and that Kendrick took the beef too far, because as rappers and people who are not attached to Drake but are big players in the industry have revealed their thoughts on the beef between Drake and Kendrick, the sentiments we are starting to hear now are just absolutely ridiculous and crush the very spirit and DNA of everything hip-hop culture has ever stood for. And now the most recent big name to come out in hip-hop and seemingly defend Drake and give his stans more fuel in their effort to revise what went down is none other than UK rapper Skepta. And now in a recent interview he did with Ebro, the two were talking about the Kendrick and Drake beef and its implications on hip-hop, and what Skepta went on to say surprised a lot of people because he said that the beef was actually bad for hip-hop. And now before we get into why he made this ridiculous take, be sure to subscribe and hit that like button. It helps me out a ton. And with that said, now the main two reasons why Skepta said this battle put a stain on the entirety of the genre was, first off, because in his eyes, the disses that Kendrick and Drake were throwing out went way too far. And while Skepta sounded like he was calling out both of them for doing this at first, he specifically addresses Kendrick as being the one who broke the boundaries, as he said that when he heard one of Kendrick's diss tracks specifically, he just realized how much anger there was going into all of this and just how deep into his bag of insults Kendrick was willing to go to tear down Drake. And then on top of this, and seemingly as a result of these disses being so serious and vain in his eyes, Skepta says that things were taken so far and such serious claims were made that they hurt not just their own reputations, but other rappers' abilities to work with major corporate entities and brands. And now after Skepta said all of this, Drake fans just continue to run rampant with this narrative that Kendrick Lamar won this beef by breaking the rules of competition in hip-hop and by pretty much cheating, which is ridiculous.
There is no rules in hip-hop when it comes to a rap beef. I don't understand why people are moving the goalposts when it comes to Kendrick. I don't understand this. It's like Drake is a victim. Drake was threatening Kendrick, talking about drop. He dropped little boy. He ain't gonna drop this. He ain't gonna do this. And now when Kendrick came out swinging, now he playing the victim. Now he losing his Nike deal or whatever. Stuff ain't the same for him. You should have never said nothing. You should have let Kendrick drop like that and ignored it and went on about your business. But now look at you.
And also just ignores the fact that Drake was the one who made this personal in the first place, and Kendrick warned him multiple times that if Drake pushed it any further, he was going to go even harder, and Drake kept going and going. But despite all of these facts, people just took what Skepta said. And even big names in hip-hop media like DJ Academics acted like he had a point, as he also said that beefs like these could hurt rappers' chances of having major brand deals. And now what I have to say to all of this is that this is one of the most insufferable conversations we have ever had in hip-hop. And what this has become is the most pathetic way to...
Hold on. So if you get into a rap beef, that can affect brand deals. I mean, Drake was the one, or is the one, who is seen on stage having inappropriate communication with a 17-year-old who is having text conversations with a 13-year-old who was dating a 18 or 19-year-old, and he was in his 30s. Like, you're moving kind of weird. So that's why Kendrick was calling you a PDF file, right? Now, a PDF file sound better than Drake likes young girls. You know what I'm saying? So he made it catchy. He made it into a song. And that just, it is what it is. Like, most rappers who beef are not going to lose their endorsement deals. If Travis Scott get into a beef, he's probably not going to lose his endorsement deal with Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Or McDonald's or whatever.
To try and ever save and course correct someone's own name and reputation. And of course, Drake, because first off, to quickly address Skepta's point about rappers losing out on working with brands because of this beef, which is going to ultimately hurt their bottom line at the end of the day, while maybe there is a world and a reality where this could have been true, if you just spend a second looking online and see what has been going on since the Kendrick and Drake beef, you would quickly find out that Kendrick Lamar is playing in an event called the Super Bowl, which last time I checked is the single biggest marquee cultural event in all of America, as it is the most watched thing on television every single year, and it is pulling in nearly a third of the entire US population in viewership. And with all the eyes on this event, it is also the single most funded event by brands, as everyone wants their name on something related to the Super Bowl, or companies want commercials that will give them the most exposure they will get all year. So if literally not millions, but an estimated $20 billion goes into an event where outside of the actual football game being played, the halftime performer, who is Kendrick Lamar, is the face of, I think this whole argument about taking down names and hurting hip-hop's chances to grow and get on bigger stages is just absolutely false. And it's blatantly ignoring the facts of what we have seen, because in all honesty, aside from what Kendrick did this year and all of the success he has seen from it, no rapper has been pushing their status forward this much in terms of the brands that they are teaming up with or the doors that they are kicking down. So for Skepta to literally say that what Kendrick did closed a door on the rest of everyone else is just misinformed and incorrect, as what he has done is clearly the exact opposite. As now Kendrick is really showing the world just how far hip-hop can make it under the right circumstances. And now to Skepta's next point about Kendrick's claims towards Drake just going way too far and going against the very nature of what hip-hop stands for as an entity and art form, even more than the first comments, this is just a blasphemous thing to say, as it is ignoring 50 years of musical history and just fails to recognize what is defined every single...
Like, what about the allegations that Drake had against Kendrick? Now, yeah, what Kendrick said was way worse, right? But Drake was calling Kendrick a woman beater, that his kids wasn't his. I mean, all is fair game when you at war. Have you guys not watched battle rap? They say some of the worst stuff in the world. And it's just entertainment. It's just battle rap. It's the same thing, right? This is a battle and it's rap. It's battle rap. There is no, oh, that's too far. Like when Pusha T has said something about Drake's producer 40 and that he had like that disease, I think multiple sclerosis or whatever. And he was saying tick, 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 tick. And there's people that was talking about that was too far. No, there is no too far. We beefing. I'm going to say whatever I'm going to say to get under your skin to make you mad. And that's what I'm going to do.
Single rap battle over the years, which has been the most scathing disses you can possibly throw out. And obviously, when we look at everything Kendrick said about Drake, as the whole trick to beating a rapper in a battle is to take things that are known about their personality and character and flip them on their head in a way that makes them look bad. Following in the playbook of Ice Cube, Tupac, and so many more, this is exactly what Kendrick did. And after all, when it comes to humiliating somebody's character, if Drake didn't have a history of being around people he shouldn't, and doing and saying things that would have other people banished from society, none of what Kendrick said would have sticked, and people would have rejected his message. And I mean, the fact that we are acting like Kendrick's diss tracks are the first songs that have ever just dug a rapper into the ground just shows how many people who claim to be hip-hop fans these days are really just stans of a few artists and don't understand the history and lineage of the genre. Because from the most iconic rap battles onward, are we really going to sit here and act like what Tupac did on a track like Hit 'Em Up wasn't something comparable to what Kendrick did? Or are we going to act like Jay-Z wasn't a person who actually took rap beef too far and said things that were way too insane on his Nas diss track Super Ugly by saying something about Nas's family that I can't even say in this video because it is that disgusting. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, to best put it into perspective, what I can say is that it was so bad that Jay-Z's mother made him apologize to Nas for it, Or are we going to act like Eminem wasn't afraid to throw out every insult in the book on any single person he beefed with during the height of his run? Or are we going to act like Drake wasn't so down?
It just comes down to like people are too soft. You're too soft. Skepta is friends with Drake and he's making excuses for Drake. That's what it is. They're coming to his defense because Drake's career is in trouble right now. That's all it boils down to.
Desperate to humiliate Ye over the years that he kept trying to connect himself to his wife at the time, Kim Kardashian. And with all of these examples and many more, which could go on for hours, the point I am making is that hip-hop has always been a competitive space where most of the time, rappers have always played with a rule book that says nothing is off the table. And this is why from every single decade of hip-hop that we can find, there has always been insane things said about other rappers and artists. And the only difference is with some cases of these types of things happening and with what has went down with Drake, is that when it comes to Kendrick's disses, they have stuck because they are all rooted in some sort of truth that we can all see and buy into, as it is something that we have all been thinking every time we have seen Drake just do a stranger and stranger thing. And I did not write that in intentionally, by the way. But with that said, let's just face it. What grown man would ever just text Millie Bobby Brown out of the blue and give her advice on things going on in her life? I mean, that is just weird. And it's something that if any individual knew you did, they would.
So when you move it like that, and if you are 17, 18 texting a 13-year-old, that's weird, let alone a 30-some-year-old man. If you are texting that young girl, anything, you deserve to have the PDF file label thrown on you. You just do. So how about instead of talking about Kendrick did this and it left a stain, get at your mans for talking to some 13-year-old girl. Why does he have her phone number?
He would be shunned from the rest of society, and no brand or company would ever want to work with anybody who's doing things like that. So overall, I'm not saying everything Kendrick Lamar said to Drake is 100% true, which is something that shouldn't even need to be stated. But because media literacy around this topic today is so low, it needs to be put out there that, again, things that are said in rap beef are 95% of the time rooted in a truth and reality that we have seen, and then pushed to make a statement that then damages the very reputation of the artist they are aimed at. Because at the end of the day, this is the very goal of this type of musical competition, which is to show that you are good enough at writing rhymes that you can paint a picture of someone that forces them to be seen within a different and unfavorable light compared to yourself. This has always been the status quo throughout every single battle and beef in hip-hop. So the fact that now we have rappers who are trying to disregard this and then claim that Drake is a victim of some sort, I mean, this is just betraying and disrespecting the very values of hip-hop culture, and is seemingly trying to soften up what rap beef really is. It's in an era where more rappers are running to social media to sub the MCs they are beefing with, or are just taking things way too far beyond the mic. These types of comments are not the standard and precedents that should be set. Because for all intents and purposes, if you're going to beef with someone in the hip-hop space, you might as well put those feelings about someone else into your art, because it's only going to help you become a better rapper and ultimately be a better competitor. And as Skepta made such a big point here about rappers needing to boost up their brands to help that bottom line, we all saw this year that the entire world will stop to hear some worthwhile diss tracks. So all in all, this softening up and revisionist history that we are seeing right now in hip-hop to help Drake just needs to stop. And at the end of the day, it is just pathetic that rappers like Skepta and the people around Drake are just ignoring the facts of what happened to try and recontextualize something that everybody else has seen the facts of. And so now with all this, let me know. What do you think about this entire situation, and how does it make you feel that people who are big and established in hip-hop are trying to rewrite the rules of rap beef to seemingly help out Drake? Now, I can't wait to hear what you have to say, and if you have made it this far...
Yeah, man, they trying to make Drake the victim. I do not like it. I think it's some sucker shit. The dude went out there, responded to Kendrick, mentioning his family, saying a bunch of lies. So guess what? Kendrick returned the favor, said some lies on him. Some of it may be true, some of it may not be true, and vice versa, right? So, it is what it is. Drake is not a victim. From now on, we don't want to hear Drake beef with nobody. All right, that's it. But anyway, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Appreciate y'all checking it out. Smash that like button. I'll catch y'all next time.